Now, before I get into today's video, folks, a bit of sad news. Obviously, you saw the start of this video where I paid a little quick tribute to George Perez, comic artist supreme. I hope I can make a video about him in a short while too. But another piece of bad news which dropped, British actor Dennis Waterman. Now, a lot of you might not be familiar with who he is, but to me, he was George Carter or Regan from The Sweeney. Then he was in Minder. I loved him in that role with George Cole. And then, of course, he was in New Tricks, which I never watched, but I heard it was pretty good. He passed away at the age of 74. Very sad. My condolences to his family and friends alike. Now, apart from that, I mean, this year, 2022, folks, it just absolutely sucks, doesn't it? And if it couldn't get any worse, it probably just did, because a few hours ago, the brand new Doctor Who was announced. Ncuti Gatwa. Who? Exactly. I have no idea who this guy is. Doctor Who. Who? Doctor Who. Who? Doctor Who. Who? Doctor Who. Who? And just seeing this picture of him here takes me back to the year 2000. Cisco, the Thong Song. I didn't think this would be making a comeback in 2022, but it has. So we have it right here. And yes, he's going to be replacing the first female ever, Jodie Whittaker, the first female to pilot the TARDIS. Yes, I'm saying that. I've said it. I don't care. Now, Ncuti Gatwa sounds like an anime character. Was born and raised in Scotland, but was actually his birthplace is actually Rwanda. So he's grown up a Scotsman in probably Edinburgh, I think it is. And look, you know what? This piece here, when I tell you who wrote it, you're going to see a lot of gushing going on. It's kind of really embarrassing and quite cringe at times. So this guy is, he's best known for his role in Sex Education on the failing Netflix platform right now. I've seen the posters of the show around, seen some quick advertisements, don't know what it's about, apart from the obvious title. Doesn't sound like my cup of tea. I'm more of an in-betweeners kind of guy myself. So showrunner Russell T Davies, who's obviously making a comeback now, said Gatwa had impressed him in a blazing audition. It was our last audition. It was our very last one, the writer and producer said. We thought we had someone, and then he came and stole it. So what I'd like to know is, who was the person before Gatwa who might have got the role? Who knows? The Queer as Folk and It's a Sin creator, who is returning to Doctor Who after leaving in 2009 or 2009, posted a selfie with Gatwa on the BAFTA's red carpet. And there you go. Cisco has truly made a comeback, ladies and gentlemen. Davies looks well there, I've got to say. He does. He looks all right. Now, here we go. Cringe time. So Lizo Mzimba, now he's written this article. Who is Lizo Mzimba, you ask? Well, I have known him for a long time because he's one of these pretentious young upstarts back in the early 90s who made a real breakthrough at the BBC, as it was then, as it is now. And if you go to Google Images, you have him right there. And of course, the thing that made me laugh was this one here, which says, the charmless non-entity that is Lizo Mzimba. He does come across as quite charmless and quite pretentious. His claim to fame is that he's married to Jamelia. Who? I think she was on Simon Cowell's singing reality show, and then she had her only song was Superstar back in the mid-noughties, I believe. But listen, if you're going to be boasting that you got Jamelia as your prized possession on your right arm, I mean, to me, you know, if I was in these shoes, Adrian Pelicki, now that is what I call a... Whew, my God, that is something to boast about. That is something I would keep at home. Never let her out except on special occasions. Oh, I love you, Miss Pelicki. But back to this article today. Now, Lizo says here that Gatwa is a very shrewd choice for the role. Why is he shrewd? Christopher Eccleston back in 2005, I would say, is a shrewd, or was a shrewd person to pick for the role of the Doctor when it was he and Billy Piper. Fantastic double act. I believe the reason why Eccleston didn't stay beyond another season because I think it was leaked out from somebody at the BBC that he was leaving and he had to leave anyway, or the other version is Eccleston just wanted to stick around for one season because he's one of those kind of quirky actors. He doesn't want to be typecast, but you know what? He left an indelible touch with his version of the Doctor. I love his version. Like Paul McGann, I love him as well. Doctor Who, like so many programs, is eager to win back some of those younger viewers. So the sheer interest from someone like him being involved is going to help with that. Again, you're insulting an established fan base who like the Doctor of all ages, demographics, sizes, etc., etc. Why is it there a need to address? When Matt Smith joined the franchise, he was a young dude, wasn't he? And he certainly got the attention of a lot of people anyway. You didn't need anything to bolster his reputation back then. Matt Smith is an exceptionally good actor anyway. That's not to put aside the fact he's an exceptionally gifted young actor. He's absolutely brilliant. He's been nominated for a BAFTA. So what? My arsehole could be nominated for a BAFTA. Would it be cast as the new Doctor? I don't know. Do you know who I would like to have seen cast as a Doctor? I had three people. Sean Pertwee, but I know he's too scared to be in his late great father's shoes. John Pertwee, one of the most awesome Doctors ever. I'm on season 8 at the moment of his appearances as the Doctor with the greatest master ever, Roger Delgado. Rest in peace, sir. You are awesome. So I'll have him as a real offshoot. Omid Jalili, I think he would have been hilarious as the Doctor. I think he would have been chaotic, manic. You just can't control that ball of energy that he is. And the last person I would cast would be Richard Ayoade. Fun fact here, I was a dead ringer for Richard back in the day. I will probably one of these days put up a school photo of me during the end credits and you can see what I'm talking about. I'll do a side-by-side of me and Richard Ayoade. There you go. That's going to be an awesome thing to to get embarrassed about. But yeah, and I guess Richard Ayoade, because he's been in the IT crowd and the guy who wrote that's probably been cancelled and the BBC don't want to be associated with anybody like that, but whatever. Look, I just think if you scroll down here as well, Nakuti Gatwa is so good on sex education, a lightning rod of charm and comedic timing, a star from the moment he popped up on screen. He's going to be phenomenal as the next Who? Can't say, he could be great. I mean, Kalechi, I don't know who they are. I don't know a single thing about what time-traveling phone box is for Nakuti. Oh, hang on a second, I've mucked this all up. I don't know a single thing about that time-traveling phone box, but for Nakuti, I'm now invested. Well, Bill and Ted took the traveling time box for their films. Well, the first two good films at least. Ash Sakar, fully been under the impression that Nakuti Gatwa was 19 or 20, but Wikipedia tells me we were born in the same year. Oh my god, so amazing, so stunning, so brave. What does that have to do with anything? Honestly, wow. And I guess, yes, I mean, she's dropped the whole skincare regime. I'm probably guessing it's going to be well, actually, I don't think you'd be allowed to advertise if it's in the release of Doctor Who. I think there's a conflict of interests if you're on the BBC, but then you're dropping a skincare product, advertising it, and if they're kind of indirectly linking it to Doctor Who, we could get into trouble for that. So, yeah, I know that's going to be weird, isn't it? That's going to be so strange. So yeah, they're really kind of pushing hard on everything here. And look, if you even go to, I found this clip here on YouTube, but get a load of the thumbnail. Absolute cringe. Hang on a second. Nakuti, that one's for you, buddy. Let's have a quick play of this and see what all the fuss is about.
You presence in London.
At all, no. Why are you doing that? Stop looking at me.
People were looking at me like, excuse me, like, why are you trying to kill me? I think I missed like the kind of...
So apparently if you bump into Ncuti Gatwa in the street, don't accuse him of being a killer. Yeah, okay, man, that's all I have to say on that one. Doctor Who, as I said before, one of my favourite doctors is Paul McGann. I love him. Peter Capaldi's great. Matt Smith is awesome. David Tennant, obviously one of the GOATs. But, you know, for me, Tom Baker, John Pertwee, even Colin Baker, you know, they all have their unique charms about them. Now, the way I see this casting of the Doctor is going to pave the way for how they redefine James Bond. Not that he needs redefining at all. To me, James Bond will always be the white dude, educated at Cambridge or Oxford, depending on your the timeline or that history of that awesome character created by Ian Fleming. And yes, although Bond is white and he's been played by a Welshman, a Scotsman and an Irishman, I'm pretty sure there's a joke in there somewhere. You know they're going to do a full 360 and cast somebody of diversity and of, you know, again, the one thing I haven't touched on here as well, and I've heard this quite regularly in today's news feed, is that Ncuti is very protective about his sexual identity, despite the fact he's been on the cover of Attitude and Gay Times. Good for him. If he wants to do that, it's fine. If that is persuasion, that is also fine. If his persuasion isn't part of the story of Doctor Who, I might give it a shot. I don't know how kooky they're going to make him, because to me, Doctor Who is a mature guy. He shouldn't be this young in the first place. You might as well call him Teen Doctor Who, right? But that's been it for me, folks. If you enjoyed this video today, do leave a like below. Do smash that TARDIS subscribe button. And if I were you, I will check me out on my next video.
I see Dan gave you a pistol. Not a bad weapon, but if you want some subtle killing power, you'll need to use a wing stick. They've got a nanocore for smart targeting, but it'll still take a little practice to master. I'll make a deal with you. You prove you can hit something with them, and I'll tell Halleck it's safe to sell you some. Ready to give it a toss?
Absolutely.